Welcome back to Fireside Frith, the podcast brought to you by the Asatru community. Together, we'll inspire inclusivity, share wisdom, and strengthen the bonds of our Norse pagan community. Welcome back. We're doing part 2. Of course, I might mess this up a little bit because I haven't done a part 2 yet, and we are recording it at the same time. It's literally been 30 seconds since part 1 ended. So bear with me, everyone who listens. But this was getting a little long, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't have to cut more than we did. So we're going to go right back into it. You already know, if you're listening straight from part 1, my guest today is Davidb. He is on the board of directors, serving as our military affairs officer. Yeah. Welcome back.
Thanks. Appreciate it. These are my daughter's gamer headsets. These aren't mine, so don't judge me.
I have a gamer headset that's worse than that.
Oh, well, I'm not a gamer, never was a gamer, but here I am wearing gamer. Yeah, I saw you wear those.
Yeah, I've worn them before for board meetings.
Yes, you have. I remember. I was like, what is she wearing?
I'm sorry. It's kind of funny because it's like, how do I make these people take me seriously?
When you're wearing big cat ears, I don't know. Sure. Yeah, that'll work.
But they also glow when they're,
Oh, they do? All right. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it scared my dogs. The first time my dogs saw me wear them, that they were all glowing right here and right here. And my German Shepherd, he was barking at me like there was a demon in my house because he was outside and I was walking around and I was wearing them. And I don't know. And it was just funny. He was horrified. He was like, what is going on?
What is happening right now?
There's a glowy monster in my house. And I was like, bro, it's me. Hey, it's me. It's your mom. And he's just barking at me. And he was baring teeth and had the high bridge back type thing. And then he realized it was me and he came up and he was like,
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I apologize.
All right. So let's get back into this interview.
Let's do it.
Yeah, as the director of military affairs, what are some of your primary goals?
Okay, so I would say my primary goals are to, of course, advocate for the rights of Norse pagan service members, create accessible resources, and build a support structure for those serving both at home and abroad. So I also aim to foster leadership development within the community, especially for those interested in serving as Gothar while in uniform, the Gothar Githya. If you're in uniform and that's something you want to do, I'm here for you. I want to serve. I want to help you get through the things that you may not know how to get through. You never have to recreate. Nobody has to recreate the wheel. It's already been created. So if you think that you have to recreate something or go from scratch, you do not. Have resources. That's what we're here for. Give us a call. We're here for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, weddings are one thing. I know this is kind of off the script, but when someone's having a crisis and they prefer to talk to someone else who's pagan, you have a course developed and ready to go.
I do.
It's pending putting it on the website to help with resilience.
And okay, so you say resilience. And as soon as you say resilience, everybody that's military is going to go, Because to be honest with you, I'm going to put this as simple as possible for all you military people out there. The Army has done a great job at getting information out. They have done a very poor job at delivery. So the Army is great at, I see a city and I'm going to put a bomb right in the middle of it and blow it up, right? So that's what they do with information. They're like, where is the center of where we can hit? Boom, right here, boom, we're going to explode it. This is how this is going to work. So you have mandatory resiliency training. You have to do it, and you get taught by somebody that may not care about resilience. And it becomes a thing that has to be done. So if I have to do it, automatically don't want to do it. Why do I have to be here? I don't care. And then you talk to me about the exact same thing every time. The slides never change. Your speech never changes. You're reading from a script. Your heart's not in it. It's not genuine. It is resilience training, but we don't only talk about resilience. It's positive psychology. It's culture. It's the nobility of what we do in the military. It's hope. Practical wisdom. And we end it with and we call it immortality. So, because again, if you're watching this and you're immortal, I need to know what that is. I'm all about being immortal. But if you're not, then one day you're going to leave this planet. It's going to happen. The immortality talks about what is the legacy that you're leaving behind. Are you
Yes.
leaving behind a good legacy, a bad legacy? For my army people out there, are you doing it for an OER or an NCOER? Is that what you're doing it for? Or are you doing the things that you're doing in life because you want people to talk good about you at your eulogy? So these are the kinds of things we talk about in my class, because we get really deep into what does resilience actually mean, and do you actually have the capacity to hold and go through a lot of this stuff? Because I'll tell you what, if you pull out a hefty bag and it'll hold 30 pounds worth of garbage, great. Your hefty bag is now 30 pounds. But I'm pretty sure the military is going to give you about 100 pounds worth of crap.
Yes.
So if your hefty bag is 30 pounds and the military gives you 100 pounds,
Gonna break.
you're not going to be able to hold all that, and you're going to break. So how do we expand your capacity in order to actually bring in 100 pounds worth of crap and not break? That's what we talk about.
I love this. I can't wait to take your course. I know I'm probably going to be the one putting it on the website,
Probably, yes.
but I'm excited for it. I'm so excited.
Before you put it on there, I know we do a 2-day course. I know when you do your resiliency training, what is it, like an hour or whatever? Like
It's an hour, and I asked legit real questions, and they were like, we're not supposed to talk about that. I was like, is this not a resiliency course? I wish you were the one teaching it, because I asked like real questions. And I was like, I'm not going through this now, just to be clear, but say XYZ happened and this is the situation.
Yeah.
And what do I do? Like
real
who do I
questions.
call?
Real questions deserve real answers. And the military is not great at giving the real answers, because one, nobody wants to get demoted, nobody wants a bad OER and COER, nobody wants to get in trouble, everybody wants to stay part. Like, you have to teach this. One, first off, the person teaching the class, do they really want to teach it, or were they instructed to teach it? That's one.
They voluntold to teach it.
Exactly. Yeah. Were they voluntold to teach it? And that's where the Army failed at throwing resiliency, because now they have a bunch of people that attended MRT, this resiliency course, that thing. They come back, they took the course and never did anything with it. And now a year later, they have to teach this class. And now that you're MRT qualified, you have to teach this class. I'm like, well, I haven't touched this stuff in a year. Now I have to go off my PowerPoints and my thing. And I'm all like, so this is this and that is that. And then somebody raises their hand. Well, I'm dealing with a lot. How do I get past that? It doesn't say it in here, so I can't answer that question.
Literally, oh my gosh, the questions I asked, they were too real. They pulled me aside after the class and referred me to behavioral health.
Exactly.
And my thing was like, hey, these were not real scenarios, but
No.
they were scenarios that I had seen in our battalion beforehand. And as a fellow soldier who people like to talk to, because at that time we had a very high suicide rate in my battalion. And I was like, I'm asking these questions because I have seen this, and I've seen soldiers one day and it seems like they're fine and they don't come back to work. I want to know to be a better friend, a better coworker. I think it's important, especially if you're wanting to move up the ranks. Yes, you're right. It is overlooked, and it seems like it's people who aren't as passionate about it, because like they literally just sent me to behavioral health, and I was like, I'm not ill right now. I want to help other people.
And that's the problem. So we have discussed this before. Your behavioral health office it's 6 months to get into it. It is inundated with so much. It doesn't need to be that way. If we actually take the time to talk to our people and care and have the passion for it, I get it. Everybody's day is busy.
Well, it can mitigate some of that behavioral health. They might not need to go to behavioral health. They might not be in a crisis that requires that. They might just need someone to act like they care. Because the thing is, you go right out of high school, you join the military, they ship you off to somewhere where you don't know, you don't have any friends. You're supposed to trust your first line, but they're just trying to look good to promote.
Exactly.
And so it is very isolating. And like when I got to my unit, I was married. I didn't hang out with the barrack soldiers. I didn't know the barrack soldiers. They were also 10 years younger than me, and we were just in different places in life. So I know I'm not the only one who felt that way, but it is very isolating. And I think learning resiliency, know how to be a better human to your fellow humans. You don't have to like them, but if you see someone is, like they say in the military, if you see something, say something. Like, pull them aside. Like, are you okay, bro?
And this is the thing, like, I love human beings. I might not like all of them.
Yes.
But I love human beings. So my love for humanity makes me want to be that person. And I'll tell you this, I teach this class and I have people show up in my office, sit down on my chair, and I will stop what I'm doing and I will spend an hour, 2 hours, it doesn't matter. We will spend the time talking until you feel better and you have a couple more things that you can deal with. And do I have a bunch of letters behind my name? Do I have a bunch of plaques or certificates on my wall? No, I don't. You know what I do have? I have the passion, the moral will, and the moral skill to want to help my fellow human being. And that's all I have. And the books, I have read thousands of books, self-help books, military books. It doesn't matter. Anything to further my education on what I'm talking about. Because what did I say the other day? Hold on, I have it right here. It's something called a learning journal. Yeah, I think everybody should always have a learning journal, and this is where you write your stuff that you want to make sure that you always know and understand. Here we go. You can only think as deep as your vocabulary. That's it. So if your vocabulary is very bare minimum, I'm not going to be able, we as society aren't going to be able to help each other. But if we get into these books, if we get into the actual teachings of Plato and Socrates and like, again, nothing's new. Yeah. This has been around for years, hundreds, thousands of years. Like, people have been saying this stuff forever. We just don't listen, and we don't read what they have put down in writing. If we can read, expand our vocabulary, we can actually help each other, and the line into behavioral health building will be at zero.
Yeah, honestly.
Behavioral health will have nothing to do, just saying.
That would be a beautiful day. That would be a beautiful.
It would be. But, and like I said, I teach culture as well. So how do we get the culture of the military to shift and change to that kind of aspect? Rather, okay, mission first, understood. Got to know your job. You got to have a skill set and a tool set, right? Mm-hmm. So the military is amazing at giving you a skill set, and they're amazing at giving you a tool set. But after they do that, when do they ever come back and ask you how your heart set and mindset is? Where are you at? Are you still into doing this? Are you still into a serving mindset, a heart set of that?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. Do you guys have H2F?
So here's what they did. You ready for this? They're like, you have to do H2F. We're not giving you any funding for it. Have a nice day. Yeah.
No.
That's exactly what happened. So what do you think happened with H2F?
It didn't go anywhere.
Nothing, because there's no funding. They're like, you have to do it, but we're not giving you funding for it. So we're like, we'll get to it when we get to it, and we have funding, I guess. I don't know. Sure. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's pretty
So
pretty
do you
sad.
know about H2F then, like what they offer?
A little bit here and there, like I said.
Okay.
We haven't really like gone into because there's no funding to send us to any kind of anything. It's just, we want you to know it's there. We want you to do it, but... Well,
there's H2F PT, and that, I'm like, I mean, as an injured person, I have had to go to H2F PT.
Mm-hmm.
And they do something that's aimed at getting you better, aimed at strengthening those things that are faulty. They are PMCSing your body, is basically. And that's preventative maintenance and...
Preventative maintenance, something, CS. Got it.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not a maintenance ward, so don't hold that against me.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, once you're an officer, you don't PMCS anything. So basically, it's like when you go check on your equipment and make sure it's working correctly. You have to PMCS your body too. And so that's kind of what H2F does. They're aimed at a more holistic approach. Yeah, the body and the mind. They do a whole more holistic. I went and talked to them today about my sleep issues. I have a hard time sleeping, and they have people there that you can talk to about your sleep health, and they take a different approach than psychology or medical would. So there's different pillars of issues that you can have with, I'm just using me as an example for those who don't know what H2F is, because we might have military members listening that are like, I've heard of it, but I thought that was just for injured people. No, it is not just for injured people. If you have any kind of other issues, like if you're having issues back home where you can't control that. First of all, you shouldn't worry about that because you're not there, but I understand we are humans and we have emotions. H2F can approach it from the holistic side, whereas medical and mental, that's going to be your more behavioral health, your more, if you have something that requires medication, that'll be like medical. H2F does the more holistic thing. They look at your sleep health. They'll look at your like mentality. They will teach you resilience from a more passionate and more, I want to help you perspective than a resilience NCO who may or may not like the things we talked about earlier. So H2F is a beautiful thing. However, I'm hearing, I don't know if this is true or not, I just know that with our sleep health at H2F, today was their last day. They were like, we're so glad you came in when you did. You are our last patient.
Wow.
It's going away.
Okay.
I don't know if that's military wide or if that's just at my installation.
So like I said, I think throughout the military, again, the military is great at what, right?
In a place.
Let's just drop the bomb. And
yeah.
And this time they dropped the bomb, and it's a great idea. They just didn't have funding to put behind it to make sure it got out there and was conducted the right way.
Right.
So you are running, and it's not you, it's the military as a whole is running into the funding issue where now they're cutting things. And what's the first thing to cut?
H2F, for sure.
Those kinds of things. And yes. I'll tell you this, as a soldier, as an airman, as a seaman, as a whatever you may be in the military, you have learned how to take care of wounds, right? You're in the middle of combat. If something happens, you have practiced over and over and over again how to take care of not only your wounds, but somebody else's wounds. So your buddy gets blown up and they're bleeding profusely out of their leg. And the first thing you do is you reach into your first aid kit, you grab a Band-Aid, and you put it over the gaping wounds in order for the blood to stop. Yes? No? Wait, no? That's not how that works?
Use a tourniquet.
It's a tourniquet. Yeah, we know that, right? But what we don't know is, how do we tourniquet our depression? How do we tourniquet our anxiety? How do we put the actual thing that's supposed to be put on those kinds of things, rather than just throwing a Band-Aid on it? Here is some freaking Motrin. Have a nice day. You're going to be fine, I promise. Just take 500 of these a day and you won't feel anything ever. And I need you to be in the field tomorrow, by the way. So here are 4 bottles of Motrin. Take all of those right now, and you're going to be fine for the duration of your exercise. You'll be okay, whatever it may be, right? So this is what we do. This is what we do, and this is what we've been culturally trained in our brains. It's okay to do. I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to keep taking this, and I'm going to be okay. But nobody's ever talked to anybody for people that sleep. So I have a buddy that I work with. He couldn't sleep either. I told him about, it's called recapitulation. Have you ever heard of this word?
No.
Recapitulation. I talked extensively with him about it. It's about going through your entire, when you lay down in bed, close your eyes, and go through your entire day only focusing on feelings. No words, no conversations, no, I should have done this, no, nothing. It's literally focusing on the feelings that you had throughout the entire day. I woke up, I was pissed. I didn't want to get up. I took a shower. I felt better. So my emotions were, I feel refreshed. I'm happy. So if you go through every little step of your day, just focusing on emotions, that's it. I guarantee you, by the time you hit lunchtime or a little bit after in your brain, you're out. You're done. And it worked. It worked for my buddy. He was like, whatever you did, whatever you said, I tried it, and shit, I haven't slept that good in my entire life.
Wow.
It's called recapitulation.
I'm going to try that tonight.
Yeah. And again, just like meditation, it takes practice. You're not going to be great at it right away. But if you continue with it every night, over and over and over again, your brain starts to, the neuroplasticity in your brain starts to change. And then you're able to actually fall asleep while you're thinking. Because it's a daily practice that you're doing with your brain. Your brain says it's time to sleep. And your brain will now shut down. And it'll let your body sleep, and you will start hitting those REM cycles. Everybody, I won't say everybody. There's a lot of like holistic. It's a word that
these fancy words.
It's big fancy words that nobody cares about. That once you say it, they roll their eyes and they're like, "What is that? Eastern medicine? What am I supposed to smoke a pipe?" And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, go ahead, smoke that pipe, bro. Like I don't know what's gonna help you, but taking 500 Motrin a day and then going to a field exercise the next day thinking that you're in peak performance is not a thing. So
wow, you just blew my mind. We have the
you.
most incredible
We do.
people on our board, because you've blown my mind like so much already in these episodes. I can't wait to try that, because I've literally tried everything. The sleep health people were like, well, you're doing everything you can. Practice this a little more, and we're going to send you a follow-up message and have a follow-up appointment. And I was like, okay, I have a sleep journal that I keep because of my issue. And they did tell me I'm allowed to take naps, which is weird. They just said I have to do it 8 hours before bedtime. So I was like, okay. Because they said if you're feeling that exhausted in the daytime, I was like, nah, man, I've just been a bartender and worked night shifts my whole adult life. And then I joined the military, and I just...
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole thing.
Recapitulation, I promise you. And if you don't already have it, like, the world is full right now of technology. You have the Whoop, you have the Ring, you have the iPhone thing. My bed focuses on my breathing and my, what is it called? HRV. It's variable heart rate, a VRH.
Yeah.
So it'll show me when I wake up my variable heart rate, how I slept, and then I have a CPAP because I have issues with, and it's funny, I never snored, or I never had a CPAP before my last deployment. I came back from last deployment, and now I had to have it. It's so weird. Anyway.
That is weird.
Yeah. So I did my sleep study. I have CPAP now, but my CPAP shows me how many, episodes I have and how it saved. Like, it's funny because my CPAP will tell me my CPAP's very smug in the morning. It's like, I saved your life 4 times last night. You're welcome. And I'm all like, thanks, CPAP. You're the best.
That's funny.
But we have so many things out there that'll help us actually physically see, because I can tell you all day long, but physically look at your health. Where is it at? How can you actually monitor things about you? And then work towards that. Yeah, it's funny you haven't heard a recapitulation. And it's not coming from David. It's coming from the HeartMath Institute. Anybody can look it up. HeartMath Institute has done studies upon studies upon studies upon studies. And they have all the statistics that you want all day long. If you get into, again, you're only as smart as your vocabulary. If you get into this reading, you'll actually see a lot of the stuff in the actual studies that were done that may be able to tailor it to your specific need and actually help you in life. Because we started this whole thing with talking about thriving.
Yes.
So how do we do that? How do we get to thriving?
Exactly. Okay, I have some homework for myself. I need some books I need to read. All right. Okay, so back to the script.
Back to the script. Let's do it.
Where do you hope to see the military affairs department and TAC as a whole in the next few years?
Where do I see that? That's a great question, because like I told you before, it's been kind of difficult because there weren't a lot of things left behind for us to kind of go through and fix and do. So I guess I would really hope to see the military affairs department become a cornerstone of support for the heathens in uniform, complete with mentorship programs. If you ask my deeper why and what my purpose is, my first response is always going to be mentorship. So I'm obviously going to say I'm going to have some kind of mentorship programs put into the military affairs department, if you would say, of TAC. So recognizing rituals, broader advocacy with the Department of Defense. For TAC as a whole, I envision us growing into a more unified, visible, and influential voice within the modern pagan and interfaith spheres. To put it sweetly, to put a bow on it, spheres. Put it
sweetly. I think that's a really great goal. Mentorship is so important.
It really is, and people need that, and the vulnerability that needs to happen before that. You have to look at how can I open myself to new things. And the military is not great at that. What they want us to do is go, get the mission done, and then, I don't know, what you do on your personal life. Don't beat your husband or wife. Don't rape and kill. Get drunk, we don't care. Just don't DUI it, and just make sure you show up the next day for PT on time. I don't care how hungover you are or if you're still drunk. Just as long as you can still do PT and you look like you're doing what you're doing, that's all we care about. But
honestly.
Yeah, no, really. Like, we are the most functional, dysfunctional people in society. And
Yes.
that the military has created this. Not created, they fostered this.
Yes.
So you are you. You've come into it, but the military has fostered it. What I would like as the director of military affairs for TAC really want, honestly and wholeheartedly, believe in mentorship. And this is where I need help. I cannot mentor 5 million people or however many.
Right.
It's just it's unheard of for one person to mentor an entire army or air force or navy or whatever it may be. It's
a lot of people. Yeah.
It's a lot of people. If you have any learnings or teachings or passion, I'm looking for passion. What is your passion? That's a question that needs to be on the questionnaire. What are your passions? Because that gets conversations started. I would love to know people's passions, because are you outdoorsy? Are you a mentor? Are you a cooking person? Like, these passions we can build on. Like, 88% of our people in TAC said their passions were cooking. Now, us as board members can start looking and going, maybe we can tailor some things to pagan cooking and recipes. And that's why this information is so valuable to us, so we can help and tailor what TAC looks like and be better for the community.
Exactly. This is a really great point. There is one last question on goals and vision. Are we okay with taking like a 2-minute?
I'm good with it.
I'll be back.
Enjoy the bathroom break. Brandon Hummel, if you're watching this, love the tattoo, brother. Nice. Good looking out, man. Got Hunin and Mugen going on there. Love it.
All 4 of my cats are outside the door like, you have not pet me in a minute.
Yeah, my one cat is out there just meow, meow. I did a shout out to Brandon Hummel and his new tattoo on the Asatru community.
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool looking.
I don't know what happened, but this week people have been doing more, and I'm really excited about that.
It's the rebirth and the growth. We're in the regrowth and birth of the world and in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere is going into the sleepy time now, right?
Yes, but it's almost like the thing that happened with TAC, the big implosion. It resembles the tales, like Ragnarok happened, what was left. And then we had people like you, like Corey, like Jamin, who stepped up. But it's just interesting how it's like, okay, so who's left? Who came into being? Who volunteered? Right. It's really, I know it's hard and it's exhausting, or it has been. And then I don't know. I have like this weird ability. Drew and I were talking about this with the ritual group here in El Paso. He was like, I was the leader and I stepped down because I wasn't getting results. You come in and what are we on? Done 4 rituals with this group, and now people are stepping up, and I don't know what it is.
It's the spark. You created the spark.
I am sparkly.
You are sparkly. You're like a sparkler on 4th of July.
Yeah.
You created the spark, so all it takes is that one spark.
Okay, so this is our last question on goals and vision.
Let's do it.
What advice would you give to other service members who are Norse pagans who are interested in learning more, whether about TAC or about the religion?
So to start with, first things first, openness and willingness to learn. That's numero uno. Reach out to the community, ask questions, and don't be afraid to walk your own path. And that's the vulnerability I'm talking about. It's okay to open up a little bit. It's okay to ask questions. There may be one that are like, meh, and that's okay. Respond. Like, as soon as you let that response get inside you, then you start shutting down. Whereas you can get 1,000 other responses of positivity and amazingness, but those 2 responses of, then you just shut down and you're done, right? So be open and have the willingness to learn. I don't think there's one single way, and I'm pretty sure all of you will agree with me. There's no one single way to be a heathen, right? So, but I think honor, courage, truth are like the guiding stars. Connect with others, especially those who've walked this path in uniform. You're not alone. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I feel like we've talked about this a lot throughout this episode, but the next couple questions are on military experience and leadership.
Yeah, let's do it.
How has your military experience shaped your... Well, I feel like you also answered this question already, but it's okay. I'm going to ask it anyways.
I will give you different answers. It's fine.
Okay, cool. How has your military experience shaped your approach to leadership within the pagan community?
So I feel like the military emphasized servant leadership, putting the mission and the people first. So I bring that same philosophy into my role as the director of military affairs and as a community leader. It's about, and we have a hard time doing this, it's about listening. We always want to, but we never want to. So listening, empowering others, and being accountable, not just in words, but in actions.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there skills or values from your military career that you find particularly useful in your role with TAC?
Are there skills? Yes. The question was, are there skills or values from your military career that you find particularly useful in your role with TAC? Yes. So, absolutely. Strategic planning, conflict resolution, mentorship. Of course, I've mentioned that quite a few times. And adaptability are all critical.
The adaptability especially.
So what does the military say? No? They don't say that
all
anymore?
You can be? I don't know.
No.
They say be flexible.
Right.
They say be flexible a lot.
But what cartoon character was very flexible back in the old days? He was a green guy.
The Hulk? Gumby! Oh my God, I haven't
You've never heard
that
this?
in so long. No,
Yeah,
I haven't.
be Gumby. Be flexible.
No, I should have joined right out of high school because
Yeah, you should have.
someone told me, some private was like, oh, wow, you could be my mom. I was like, shut up.
So I don't know if you know this, but in August this year, my daughter turns 20.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 20. So she could have joined the military like 2 years ago.
I don't know if I could have. See, and my dad was still in the military when I was out of high school. And I was like, I can't. My dad works there. And he had an AGR job too.
Oh,
and
really?
the
Okay.
common thing in my hometown was join but go AGR because
It
that
is
was
the best of both
you
worlds.
stay home. And even if you do get deployed, you have a full-time job and you're not going to get moved across the country 20 times throughout your career.
You are not. AGR, best kept secret in the military.
My thing was like, no, I want to see other places.
No, and people want that, and great. Then if that's for you, then you have to mentally make sure that that's for you. If that's not for you, because I want to experience the world, I want to see different places, and then you end up at Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss?
And you're like, shit, right? You're like, that's not what I was expecting. I'm all like, well, that's what you decided. And you know what I can do? I can see the entire world on my own. But I always have my home, and I never have to leave it if I don't want to. Unagi.
Yeah. I know I made an interesting decision. Let's see the world. A little did I know, most army installations are in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
In deserts or in places that are super far away from anything.
Right in the ghetto, and always in the ghetto. I don't know why they do that, but it's just what surrounds the area. It's just what it is, because it's easy money. Because soldiers have money to spend, especially young ones. And so they pile on all this stuff to take the soldiers' money. And that's why you have the surroundings that you do at these military bases. I know. Again, this June, I'll be in the military 26 years.
Wow.
My Army birthday this June is 26 years. I was shining boots for you newcomers. Shining boots. We used to wear black boots, and we had to shine them all the time. And we had to press and starch our uniforms all the time. If you didn't look like a paper bag with super shiny boots, then you were garbage in the military. Just letting you know.
I remember when my dad was younger than I am now, and he was in the military. And I remember my mom taught me, it was just a little sexist, but also I enjoyed doing it, whatever that means. My mom was like, if you want to be a good wife, you're going to learn how to starch and iron your husband's uniform and his suits so he doesn't have to wait on getting it laundered professionally.
And it saves you money.
And it saves you money. And my mom was like, and if you want to buy a farm and you want to homestead and you want to do this, because that's what our family does. And that's what the right thing to do is, because you can't trust the government's food.
Can't eat that government cheese, man. You can't do it.
Is it even real? But anyway, I learned how to do all that and prepped my dad's uniforms when I was a child. And I honestly took pride in it when I was little.
Yeah?
Because I was the only daughter for a long time, and I was like, as the eldest daughter, I must bring
this.
honor to my family by ironing my dad's blues or whatever, and shining his shoes, which I didn't know I was doing peasant work.
Yeah, it's total peasant work. It was funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because when I met my wife, being in the military, I learned how to starch iron my uniform, shine my boots. That was all the stuff that was instilled in us. So on your uniform, you had the line that had to come up, right? But if you were top of the top in this, the line would continue on your back all the way back, and they would match to this line and come all the way down.
Yes,
so
it was
stupid.
Seamless.
So stupid. Anyway,
yes.
But I learned how to do all that. So when I met my wife, she's a flight attendant. So one morning, she's all like, we had just met. And she's like, oh, I need to go to work. I need to iron my uniform. I was like, oh, I got you. I'll iron your uniform. She's like, you iron? I'm like, yeah. Like, who doesn't iron? In my mind, like, everybody irons. Everybody should iron. Like, you should know how to do this. And I don't give the military credit for that at all. I give my mother credit for that, because my mother had to iron my dad's uniforms, and my sister wasn't born till way later, so she had 2 boys. And so me being the first, she taught me how to cook, clean, iron, be a homesteader, because that's what she knew, that's what she did. And so I credit my mom for a lot of that, and my wife was super surprised. What, you iron? Like, yeah, everybody should know how to iron. Like, do iron your stuff.
I'm pretty sure that is a rare thing, and that might have added to your attraction. I'm just guessing, because that was something too. Like, when my husband knew how to like dress without, young men don't always know what they're doing. Young women too, but yeah.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Well,
just
okay.
Young people, they're figuring things out, and
that's the beautiful part of things, and that's where us as the older generation become the mentors. We need to be able to help them through. Again, I need the young people to teach me how to use my computer and my phone, because I am the generation that grew up with absolutely nothing. I was there when cell phones came out. I had a beeper in high school.
Oh my God.
So that tells you, where I was. I had a beeper in high school. When I joined the military, because I was a supply sergeant, I had a beeper. So if my vault went off with all the weapons, they would beep me, and I would have to call and say, hey, what's going on? Your vault's going off. You need to get in there and turn it off. That's what they issued us, a beeper. We had an actual beeper they issued us. Yeah, that's the generation. But I've been through all of it. I've seen it all and done it all. Keeping up with the Joneses, it's hard to do, because it's so much technology coming out all at once. And I have a family I have to fend for. I have a job I have to do. I have so many obligations. I don't have the time to just sit on something and figure out, how does Snapchat work, and what's Instagram, and what's this and what's that, and and all these dating apps that are out there now. We didn't have any of that when I was growing up. Luckily, I met my wife before dating apps were a thing, I think. And I've never been on the dating app, so I don't know what those are all about. I know what swiping left and swiping right means. I know that because it's been in songs and people say it all the time. So other than that, I really don't know anything. Anyway, so getting back to the question.
No.
It's adaptability. And this is where we come to adaptability. It's critical, right?
Yes.
So the ability to lead under pressure and organize efficiently has proven invaluable in coordinating events. I love coordinating events. I think I have a knack because I'm very OCD. So everything has a place, and every place has a thing, or whatever they say. I have to have things. But as I get older, I've learned how to adapt to my kids not being OCD. Like, their stuff's everywhere, and my wife's definitely not OCD, so her stuff's everywhere. So I live in a house with girls. If you don't know, I have a wife and 2 girls, so I live in a house of women, and that's always fun. So that's a new learning experience. But everything's always everywhere, and if I spent my entire day trying to fix everything, I'm gonna drive myself nuts. So I've learned to adapt. Be adaptable to what the situation entails, what that looks like. So anyway, It's proven invaluable. So I love coordinating events. I love resolving community issues. I really enjoy personal issues, like how can I help you as an individual? But when it comes to community issues like TAC, so how do we fix this? How do we do this? The thing is I'm trying to do it in a way that is not how the army does it. I don't want to drop a bomb on it and be like, fix it. This fixes everything. Mandatory, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I need to figure out a way to talk to the community in a way, because you don't grow a garden by planting fruits, vegetable, whatever it is in your garden. You don't plant those already blooming and everything's coming and it's done, right? So as soon as I plant a garden, it's already sprouting fruit, vegetables, whatever, right? You plant them from seeds. So you have to plant these things. The best way to do it is you have to reach the people at a certain level, plant those seeds, let them grow, and then but what does that take? Time. You have to let the time pass in order for those things to happen. So anyway, resolving community issues and representing heathens on an official capacity. That's my answer to that question.
It's a lot, but yes, going into planting seeds and stuff, it's hard to do it alone. And I think the board that we have today and why we're doing these podcasts where it's Meet the Board is to allow that transparency to see what we have been discussing, because not everybody reads the minutes from our BOD meetings, but this also gives a voice so that people know what we're doing, what our plans are, and who we are. Because knowing who the board is, I think doing this podcast little by little and by getting to know each other a little bit more personally is allowing us to better help each other as board members to get those seeds planted.
Yes, I agree. And I am okay with planting the seeds and not seeing the fruits of my labor. As long as I know I've planted the seeds, if eventually I leave, as long as I know that the seeds have been planted and whoever takes over after me can continue to grow that garden in a good way, I'm good with that. Because I have learned in my lifetime that I will probably never see the fruits of my labor. And it's a hard fact to really understand, because you want validation. You want to know that I did a good job and I want to see the good job happen. But if you understand that if you can come to terms with you will not see the fruits of your labor, you can do so many things and be free of understanding that I did the best I could. I really hope that garden takes root and becomes something that is absolutely amazing. My solace is knowing that I was part of the rebuilding. That's it.
Well, in the rebuilding, I can only speak for what I've been a part of, but talking to each board member and seeing their stance, where they were when it happened and when they stepped in, it's been a remarkable turn of events and things are happening. People are becoming re-engaged. I know people who I friended through TAC before the fallout, when they see me post, honestly, my mom is very Christian, but she's like, I can see that you are making a difference in the community that you serve, and I am very proud of you. And she said the P word, and I was like,
no.
What? And when I do, I have old TAC members who left TAC who are like, TAC's still a thing? And so I'm seeing them as we go through our new members, and I'm like, that's one of my friends that I know from back in the day. And they answer the questions, whatever, accept that. And even on the local level, when they heard I was part of the board of TAC, they were like, oh, because they were there for the fallout and they left TAC.
I gotcha. Okay.
But even on the local level, my people are coming back. Not my people, but they are now my people. But they were previously TAC members and now they're coming back and they're seeing changes. And I think once we get our courses up, that people are going to be like, okay, these are the resources they've been talking about. This is the stuff they've been doing, the work.
But what people need to understand, it takes time.
It does.
You have to allow us the time because first off, none of us are getting paid to do anything that we're doing. Suzanne's not getting paid to do this podcast. I'm not getting paid to sit here and speak on the podcast. We are not getting paid for our efforts and anything we put into TAC to build it and make it better. We do it out of the love in our heart for community and for the people. That's you, the people that are watching this. We want you to understand and know that we love people. We love the community, and we want to help as best as we can. But you have to allow us the time to get to where we need to go. And I'm going to say this, and Suzanne, if you edit this shit out, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay, I won't.
I'm going to say this right now.
Okay.
Susanna has been the cornerstone of making this successful. Before her, we were kind of floundering around. What do we need to do? How do we do it? I don't understand things. Susanna came in and wow, she changed the game when it comes to coordinating things, getting board meetings together, how we create our board meetings, how we assign things to each other, how we do things to make TAC better. Again, we all do work to help with this.
It is a group effort. It wasn't just me.
If I had a gold star anywhere around me, I would literally pull it out and I would put it right on Susanna's forehead, because she is the gold star of making TAC, bringing TAC back to where it was. But that's not the goal. The goal is to make TAC better than what it was.
Yes.
And Susanna knows this, and she has been on it with everything she's done, and I cannot express my appreciation enough for all of the work. And I literally wrote a letter today for her, so I know she has put 321 hours in
the last 6 months. That's only 6 months
into volunteering 321 hours. That's not including the 2 hours that we've just spent talking here. So right. What, 323 hours into, well, all this good stuff. So thank you, Susanna. I appreciate everything that you do, and I just want to make sure that that's expressed. Don't edit that out.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
I guess.
You shouldn't. Take the credit. You deserve it.
I just feel so weird about taking that credit.
It doesn't, no, don't feel weird. You have been the voice of the board. You have literally taken us from, we trying to figure things out, and you came in with all this knowledge and experience to help. You molded us into something that is better than what we were. You have planted those seeds, and I believe that you'll be around long enough to at least watch one of your tomato plants actually sprout a tomato. I really think you will. So
thank you.
Of course.
I saw so much positivity back in the day, but there was some negative stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing though. I don't want to get political, but I will say one thing. As a service member, though some things may be outdated, I believe in the Constitution that I swore my oaths to. I believe in the separation of church and state. Though that may be finicky, none of my business. I'm not in politics. So hear me out, guys, gals, heathens, sheathens, and they-thens. Want to express that I was ignorant when I was younger, and any political post I saw on TAC, I immediately ignored it. And so there was a lot of the fallout that I missed because I'm choosing not to see this. Though from a community member standpoint, that might be a good thing. But from someone who eventually grew into a leader, that is a bad thing, because it's important to know when things are getting sticky so that you can kind of mitigate it, or you can pull someone aside, even if it is online, and say, hey, we respect your freedom of speech. However, we as an organization cannot facilitate XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So I was ignorant, and I know that. And moving on, I'm choosing to be more involved. Here I am on the board. Here I am trying to make things better, not for myself, but for other people.
Yes.
Because I know what I felt when we were a community, when other DRGLs had this group chat, and we were like, hey, I need help with a ritual. I'm not a Gothi. I'm not a Kithia. You know?
I agree. You said it. It needs to be said. So, yes.
These board episodes are for the full transparency. And that, I think, is important because we didn't have that before. That being said, let's get to the final reflections.
Let's do it.
What message or piece of wisdom would you like to leave people with? If there's anything that you missed or that we didn't talk about or that wasn't specific with my questions, what do you want to leave people with today?
Honor the gods, honor your ancestors, honor your oaths, but never forget to, most importantly, honor yourself. The path isn't always easy, especially in a military environment, speaking military, especially in a military environment. But your strength, values, and integrity are part of your spiritual service. Stand proud, stay resilient, and remember, you are not alone in the halls of Midgard or beyond. You are not alone in any of that. So we are here. People are out there that want to do good and help and be a part of something. Let them. There you go.
Where can people message you if they have questions about anything that we talked about today or last episode? Anything about DRGL stuff? Anything about beard waivers? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, of course. So reach me through TAC official channels like Facebook or directly via my TAC Military Affairs Department email, which is davidb at theasatrucommunity.com. I have that email. I check it. It comes up on my phone. So more than welcome to email me on that at any given time. If we have people out there that are currently serving, I'm on global. So through my military email address, which is david.p as in papa.bouse. I literally went on global today and I think I counted there are 8 or 9 bouses in global. That's it. If you type in Bouse on global, I'm the only David. So it's david.p.bouse.mil at army.mil. I'm always open to answering questions, offering guidance, or just talking with fellow heathens, especially those navigating both faith and service. So hit me up. I am here for you. Whatever you need, any questions you have, anything I may be able to help you with, you have my contact information now. So I look forward to hearing from you.
And that'll also be in the show notes, so you can copy and paste it. You don't have to remember everything we just said. That concludes our interview with our Military Affairs Director, David Bouse. Thank you all so much for joining us on Fireside Frith. If you have any questions, stories, or reflections you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you at podcast@theasatrucommunity.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our socials at Fireside Frith Pod or theasatrucommunity.com. With Frith and wisdom, Skull!